Hey, what's up everyone? Today is part 5 of the Creating a Song from Scratch series. What we are going to do today is we are going to record most of the song, if possible. If you haven't seen the other videos, go to my channel and go to the Dirty Video Challenge playlist, and there you can find the other parts that we have for this series. If you like what you see, consider subscribing and leaving a like on the video. Okay, so we are going to record the song today. There's one tip that I want to give before I start rehearsing the lyrics, and that is, if you have your verse written down and you're done, I would recommend wrapping the verse into your phone with the instrumental on, and then record with a voice memo app to make sure that you have a reference of it when you need it, because sometimes you come back to the same lyrics the next day and you're like, wait, how did I flow that again on this beat? So that's why I do it, because I have that issue where I sometimes forget how I did it, and maybe that's helpful to you too. So I would always recommend recording your lyrics into your phone as a draft. But first, before I record, I always rehearse my verses. I do that because I want to make sure that I memorize my verse. Now, I have seen a lot of people that also stand in front of the microphone and use their mobile phone, and then they can see the lyrics while they are recording the verse. Now, you could do that. If that works for you, then do that. But, I can't use my hands that well, so it's not an option for me to hold the phone up and then read the lyrics off the screen of the phone and also record at the same time. So I have to rehearse first and make sure that I remember all the lines, and then I can start recording. Now, I want to divide this video up in sections. So first you're going to see a couple of shots where I rehearse a verse. Then I'm going to show you a section where I record the verse literally into my DAWs and where I stand in front of a microphone. And then I want to end the video by giving some general tips on how you can improve your recording and what you should keep in mind before you record. So let's get to the first section, which is rehearsing the lyrics. Welcome to my universe. Shall we try to converse? Don't mind words I use. Screws loose, voices in my head. Direct my actions, affection, blades, knives, sauce, attraction. Welcome to my universe. Shall we try to converse? Don't mind words I use. Screws loose, voices in my head. Direct my actions, affection, blades, knives, sauce, attraction. Began as a boy, wanted to destroy all in my path. Kids got me mad, too bad, chopped off head. No sense of regret, evil grin. Brutal sins, kept stacking up. Struck a guy right between the eyes, paid a heavy price to say what should hide. Might want to take it back. Punched, fell on his head, crushed his spine. This the first time wheelchair was weaponized. Joy, pride, let him bleed to death. He yelled, psychopath. Meant what I said. Began as a boy, wanted to destroy all in my path. Kids got me mad, too bad, chopped off head. No sense of regret, evil grin. Brutal sins, kept sticking it. Fuck. Brutal sins, kept stacking up. Struck a guy right between the eyes, paid a heavy price to say what should hide. Might want to take it back. Punched, fell on his head, crushed his spine. This the first time wheelchair was weaponized. Joy, pride, let him bleed to death. He yelled, psychopath. Well, meant what I said. Many tried to diagnose, but my stare froze into this face of hate. Doctors want to penetrate my brain to see my sanity isn't present. Can't be worried, surely. Crazy just a label to be able to explain. Frame feelings, process, complex, wrong.
Guess again. Can you imagine? Asking intrigue, think, anger. Where did it start? Black heart, misunderstood. Would you not be mentally affected? Split in two? Do know, bomb blows. If stupidity clearly shows. So it's not me, lady, brain fine. People waste time, hate that, get that. Except I'm not like most. Case closed. Bye bye, don't cry. All bullshit aside, what I try, take angles, dismantle, shine light right upon kooky, spooky, bloody scenarios, clearly shows acts that reflect no regret, guilt. Will ask you now, how am I crazy? When really all I am is a man with emotion, awoken, educated, face it, ideas too hefty, fear, scary. That's there where I look empty, only mean you cross the line. Toss my sympathy down the drain. If insane means I am not to be fucked with, then I am publicly say maybe isn't bad. Having a scribbled head, words echo, don't they? So, what do you say?
I want to end the video with a couple of tips that I have for you guys when you are recording. So let's start with the first one. The first tip that I have is memorizing your lyrics. I touched on it before, but I think it's very important that you memorize your lyrics in your mind, because then instead of focusing on reading lyrics off a phone or a other device, then you can focus on your delivery and how it sounds. So maybe I'm a bit old school, but that's what I think. The second tip I have is record enough takes. Now, the reason why you should never just record one take is, say 50% of the first take you did was right, and there are a couple of lines that don't sound so good, and then you have other takes you can choose from to see, oh, maybe these lines that I messed up in this take are right in a different take. And then you can just cut out those pieces and then you can merge them with the take where most of it is correct. I do want to point out that that only works if you keep your voicing similar to each other. So if your voice would sound very different on a different take, then people would notice that you switched from a take. Now, that is not bad per se, but if you want to give your song a overall feeling where it's cohesive, I like to make sure my voicing is roughly the same, because then people don't notice as much that you have used multiple takes to create the perfect verse, so to speak. And I think you already guessed it, but you know, that makes editing easier later, so that's why. Here's another important one. Figure out the right distance to your microphone. This is very important because each microphone is different and you might like a different sound. The closer you are, the warmer it's going to sound, and the further you are away from the microphone, the, I won't say colder, but it will sound more balanced. And if you're closer to the microphone, it can give a bit of a warmer tone. So figure out what is the right distance. Usually, when you have a pop filter in front of your microphone, basically you need to step 2 or 3 steps back, and that is enough distance. But if you want that warmer effect, you can get close up to the microphone. As well as, if I sing low, for instance, then my voice gets quieter. So then I get closer up on the microphone to record it a little better. And also for my choruses, that's where I mostly sing low, then I like that effect where it sounds a bit warmer. So that's where I usually do that. Feel free to just experiment and see what sounds best to you. Try to record in a space where it's as quiet as possible. And this also might come hand in hand with try to record when there are not many people home, because if you live with other people and people are talking or whatever, if there is too much noise from the outside, say you are recording in your room and other people are talking in the hallways, or you can hear other people talk in the living room, for instance, that stuff does get into your microphone because most microphones are very sensitive, at least the microphones that are used for singing and rapping. So try to record when it's quiet. That's a good thing to do. As well as try to record in a space where there are not many windows. And if there are, try to use curtains like in front of the windows, because when you're recording, you don't want too many reflections bouncing off the windows, and because that gets into your microphone and that will sound nasty. And also, don't set up your microphone near a wall. Try to put it at a space where there is enough space, because if you put it in like next to a wall, it will sound very bad, even if you would treat it. But the most important thing is try to record at a place where it's as quiet as possible, and yeah, where there's not too many reflections. Just try out which room is the best, and if you have only one room to work with, then that's what it is. And then just try to look up some tutorials on how to treat your room so that your vocals will sound as best as they can. Last tip that I have today is have water at hand when you are recording. Try to at least take a sip of water after each take that you record, and if that's not possible because your water is further away from where you record, then try to do it after a couple of takes. Because what you'll notice is that when you record a lot of takes, or say when you record a whole song, then your voice can tire out very easily, and as well your throat can begin to hurt, and then it's harder to sing and it's harder to breathe, at least for me it is, and then people will hear that in the recording. So drink a lot of water, and also what's very important when you are recording, take breaks in between. I know that it sounds stupid because you're in the flow and you want to maybe finish your song, but a cracked voice doesn't sound good, and the breaks don't have to be super long. Even if it's like 10 or 15 minutes, that's fine. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you saw, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to follow the rest of the series, and if you want to stay updated on all the new content that I post. This was me for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.